Alright, my friends, so we're going to get into my cleanspark position, my charge point position, which you see in front of you here. And then I'm going to go over the charts and I'm going to give you my thoughts on each stock. And there's actually something you want to watch out for here with charge point. But first, starting out, I'm going to show you that I have 24 shares in one account, negative $105, not worried about a $508 position. And then we have here 60 shares, 1200, up 60 bucks, and that was with the price at 21.18 for both of these. I'm quite happy with my position here. Some of you guys might have a lot more money and be laughing at the size of this, and some of you might be looking at it and be impressed. So it just depends on where you are in life, how your wealth is and all that kind of stuff. So my thoughts on where I'm looking at moving forwards in terms of like selling this potentially. Now, the one that I have 60 shares in, I was buying some of these back in the SBE days, and then I just kept kind of dollar cost averaging as it came up, so that's why I'm not extremely high on that one. I wish I would have bought more back when it was SBE, back when it was trading like under 15 bucks. That would have been great, but regardless, I'm very happy just to continue dollar cost averaging, and all the way up to maybe the $24 mark, and that's when I'll kind of just hold. So I'm hoping to build my total up to about at least over 100 shares, if not more. I also do have some calls on webull for both cleanspark and chargepoint, but I figured I'd just go into my Vanguard real quick and go over the stock side of things. Now, in terms of where I'd be looking to sell this potentially, I would be skimming some profits up at about the $28 range. I'd be looking for just maybe 10%, take about 10% of my shares out. So by then, hopefully only taking like 10, 15 shares out or something. But that's basically ChargePoint. Very excited over the coming months and even years for this one. I'll be holding this pretty long, but I'm not going to be scared to take a little bit of profits and realize some gains and potentially buy back in under the 25s in the future. Getting into CleanSpark here, you'll see on the left and the right, these are at different price points of the stock. And you'll see back when I was $42 up when it was $16.38. And now the current price from aftermarket is about 17 even, so that's where we're at currently, where we stand now as of putting this video out. And you'll see I was up $300 almost. I didn't sell a single share. I'm not even thinking about selling this until I see at least the mid-20s, if not higher. I mean, we've got a 5-star analyst, like almost top of the top analysts, and he's calling it at 50. And that is a year price target from when he put that out, which was about 2 months ago. So we're talking about a 10-month price target of 50. I would consider starting to take some profits maybe in the 25s just to realize some gains, because Bitcoin can be very volatile, and this is going to greatly follow Bitcoin. Sure, they've got the microgrid side of things, they've got the solar side of things, which gives me greater conviction. They can mine their Bitcoin at a lower price than almost all competitors. They're mining their Bitcoin at about a $5,000 price per Bitcoin mined. I'm actually thinking if this can come down, it's got to come down for me down under like 16 for me to consider buying a little bit more. I think in terms of my total portfolio, this is a pretty good weight. I'd say this is close to like 8% of my total portfolio. I try to be pretty diversified, but these are definitely my biggest. I've got other positions that are anywhere from 2 to 5%, but these are definitely up there, and I'm kind of a little high leveraged in these, both of these, ChargePoint and CleanSpark, but I definitely feel good about both of these, and I have very high conviction in both of these plays, especially at the prices they're still currently at. I think a year from now, we'll be looking at both of these stocks and wish that we bought either of these in the 20s, around the 20s, that kind of thing. And now you need to keep in mind too that Bitcoin is right here at about $62,000, right around 62. If we can see this overnight kind of popping a little bit, or at least staying at 62 or above, I definitely see CleanSpark going up, at least in the pre-market. Maybe a quick kind of day trade thing potentially. I might even, depending on how late I stay up, I might place an order for a pre-market just to buy some CleanSpark and then sell it into the market just for a quick day trade, for kind of a short-term kind of a thing. Because if Bitcoin can stay going up, we'll do very well. And this is what happened here. So the reason CleanSpark dropped so much on Friday, in my opinion, was because Bitcoin was at about 63 and just dumped down to about 60, and it was trading sideways. So coming into after hours, we had a nice pop. That's probably why CleanSpark went back up 3%, but it did dump 6%, up back 3%. And, you know, it's just trading very close to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin can keep working its way up, if it can stay around here, I definitely see CleanSpark going up a little bit further. But it's definitely, I think, day trade worthy. So with CleanSpark, we're here at 17 as for the after hours. And what I see happening, if Bitcoin can hold its ground and stay around 62 and maybe slowly rally overnight here, I definitely see this potentially being a good day trade and just taking some quick profits, making some money off this one. And if it doesn't do that, I'll just hold the shares longer. I'm not really worried about it. But there's definitely a short-term profit to be made here, in my opinion. And you can call me out if I'm wrong, but that's just my prediction. Keep in mind, we are at 17 currently. So we're going to get into the pre-market. It could have a nice little spike, seeing that Bitcoin is coming up from where it was previously. You know, it was trending downwards toward the 60s, which caused the 6% drop. And then it kind of worked its way a little bit higher, which caused the 3% rise for after hours. But we'll see what it does going into the market here Monday and going throughout the week. Definitely bullish on CleanSpark, one of my favorite plays by far. And I'm a little over leveraged in crypto plays in general, so I will potentially take some profits if this comes into the mid 20s, just for risk management sake. Bitcoin can go all over the place, and I definitely want to realize some gains when I can. No doubt in my mind, though, that this is going to be a long-term play for me. Now, as for ChargePoint, I'm definitely a little more bearish on this one in the short term, just because we do have this gap here. And I'm looking at potentially a head and shoulders here. If this comes down, we could potentially trend downwards, but we, you know, it seems to have done this last time, that we had this bounce and then bam, that looks like a head and shoulders there. Typically it's when it's on an uptrend, you know, in this case this was kind of downtrending, and you know that kind of happened. But you know, this is on an uptrend, so that could signify the bullish momentum kind of waning potentially. But we'll see what it does moving forwards. That's just a potential, you know, we were overbought on the RSI. That could be potential reason for this as well. People getting a little nervous, you know, going a little too far too fast here. But definitely over time here with any positive infrastructure news, good news in earnings here moving forwards. I think they're going to crush earnings in my opinion. I listened to the last conference call. They're very, you know, they just sounded very positive. They're expanding into Europe. I believe 9 or 12% was their revenue that quarter. So they're definitely moving into Europe, expanding more. But definitely, you know, long-term bullish, but short-term, just looking at the chart, I'm kind of bearish on this one. I think it could cool down a little bit before we move further. But, you know, there's a potential that we could just hit that 21 and it can be our support and we can move further. Maybe just consolidate sideways for a little while until a positive news catalyst comes in. But that's my thoughts on ChargePoint. I do have a decent weight of that in my portfolio. Very bullish on ChargePoint in the long term. And that is all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.